Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're testing out a $74 primer. So a primer that is almost $75, and honestly that is so expensive for a primer. I don't think I've ever spent anywhere near that on any makeup product that I own, and the reason why I decided to pick this up is because I've seen it a lot over Instagram, I've seen it a lot over YouTube, and I've also seen reviews where a lot of people have been saying it's great for acne prone skin and oily skin, and I have very oily skin, so we're going to see how it goes. And I'm also going to test it alongside the primer that I usually wear as well, just to see if it is actually worth the $74 and if it actually does work on my skin. So the good thing about this is that I do live in the UK, so it is a bit more affordable. It retails for £54, so I actually bought it on All Beauty. I believe it's reduced to about £40, and then I had a coupon code, so I spent about £35 on it. So if you're new to my channel and you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure to hit the bell icon just to stay notified every time I upload a new video. So the primer that I'm testing out today is a Guerlain Radiance Concentrate with Pure Gold Makeup Base. So this actually does have pure gold pigments in there, and apparently it's meant to be really great for your skin, and a lot of people have been saying that it's very radiant on the skin as well. Now I haven't seen a lot of video reviews on YouTube of this primer, but I have seen two and they really liked them and they said that they were really good, and the packaging looks so expensive, which you would expect for it being such an expensive product. But you do have the flecks of gold in there, then you also have a gold top as well. You have the logo, Guerlain is on there as well, and the description on the website says that it's an embellishing makeup base sprinkled with pure 24 karat gold flakes. Like the most luxurious jewelry pieces, the precious flakes were crafted into ultra sparkling and ultra reflective particles, then dispersed into a hydrating smoothing gel. The complexion is beautified, it glows with divine and unfailing radiance, skin is smooth, supple, satiny, ready for perfect, enhanced and long-lasting makeup. It doesn't say about what type of skin it's for, it doesn't say if it's pore filling, it just says that it's going to be smooth and satiny, so it's not going to be a matte finish. And with the fragrance it says it has a distinctive and delicate floral scent. The first peach note blended with an accord of vegetal notes is fresh and sparkling. The rose, raspberry and jasmine heart is enriched with a powdered base of balsamic, benzoin and white musk. This also sounds like it's a perfume as well as a makeup product, so I'm hoping that with the fragrance in it it's not going to irritate my skin. I do have very sensitive skin, and having a lot of fragrance in products can tend to make it break out, but I have high hopes for this because of the expensive price tag, the fact that it's always sold out as well, and that so many people are always raving about it. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and we're going to test out the primer and see how it goes. So I've zoomed in quite a lot so you can see my skin texture, and then you can also see what my skin looks like up close, just so we can compare both the primers to see if they actually do work. I also forgot to mention that it comes with this massive leaflet as well, and it says all about the product. So it says about the complexion. It also says Guerlain has selected pure 24 karat gold flakes, as would a goldsmith, and cut and fashioned ultra brilliant, ultra reflective flakes and suspended them in a translucent gel that gives the skin a subtle glow. It says that it's rich in beneficial and beautifying components. Hydrating agents prevent the skin from drying out. A combination of 3 Titan polymers form an invisible mesh that smooths away fine wrinkles and gently smooths and lifts the skin. So this looks like it's going to be really good if you do have wrinkles, if you do have fine lines. So I do have my laughter lines here. I also do have some wrinkles on my forehead as well. So this looks like it's probably going to fill them in. I'm not expecting it to be as good as a pore filling primer just because it doesn't say that it fills in your pores, it just says it helps with wrinkles. And the way to apply it says take a small amount of gel, press the applicator once or twice and apply to your face from the centre, smooth outwards over the face, and then apply foundation immediately. The primer that I'm actually going to be putting it against is my e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. This is what I use all the time with my skin. It is so good, it helps keep my oils at bay, and it also fills in any of the pores, and I do have quite a lot of pores, especially on my cheeks and around my nose as well. And I also forgot to mention that this has 30 millilitres or 1 fluid ounce, which is the standard to what you have for a foundation. With primers they tend to be a lot smaller, so you do get more than I thought that you'd get in this. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and test these out against each other. I'm going to apply this one to one side of my face and then my standard one to the other side of my face, just so we can compare them and see which one looks better. So I'm going to apply this primer first, and I'm going to put it on this side of my face, and it does say to put 1 or 2 pumps on, so I'm just pretty much going to do 1 pump first. And that is what it looks like. So I'm just going to apply it, it says from the centre, and then work outwards. Feels quite cooling, it's really weird, it's so watery. I'm worried that it's going to be very, very oily on my skin because it just slips everywhere. It does have a fragrance. The fragrance is very fresh. It smells a bit like skincare. It's not overpowering. It looks like my pores are more filled in. It's not crazy different. I can't see the gold on my face, which I was a little bit worried about, so I'm glad that I can't see the gold on there. It literally doesn't really look any different, but it feels so nice. This side feels quite rough, then this side feels so smooth and so soft. I don't know if you can see any difference, but this is the side without any of the primer on, then this is the side with the primer. So like I said, literally the tiniest bit of difference around my pores, on my nose, and also right here. Now that that primer's all on my skin and I've seen the difference, I'm going to go ahead and use my usual e.l.f. matte putty primer, and I'm going to apply this everywhere where I usually would. The only thing that I don't like about this is the fact that you have to put your fingers in it, so it can get quite horrible. But I'm just going to apply this how I usually would. And just so you know, before I applied this primer, I did wipe down my hands with a baby wipe just to make sure I didn't have any of this primer still on my hands, just so we can give it a fair test. In all honesty, I don't really see much of a difference between both sides of my face. I actually feel like this one has blurred my pores more than this side has. It just, I don't know, this side just looks really nice. I don't know what it is, but in person I can see that it looks a lot smoother. My pores don't look as big. They feel very similar to each other, but there's not really a massive amount of difference between both of the sides. I don't know if you can see much difference, but this is the side with the e.l.f. primer on, and then this side is with the Guerlain one. So this side I feel like my pores look a little bit more bigger, a little bit more accentuated, and this side it just looks a little bit smoother. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but there is a little bit more of a glow on this side. At the moment I don't see a massive difference between both of them, but I'm going to see how my foundation goes on, because that is a true test to see if it acts differently with the skin, because I know that some primers that I've tried before haven't really worked out very well. So the foundation I'm using is the It Cosmetics CC Cream Oil Free. This is what I use so much. I use it pretty much every single day, and I'm the shade Fair when I don't have any self tan on, which is me at the moment. I'm just going to apply it how I usually would, and we'll see if it looks any different on any of the sides, see if it's pore blurring, see if it comes off on one of the sides, and just see what the texture looks like. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like that on this side it's starting to come off quite a lot with my e.l.f. primer. It looks like that it's very, very blotchy on my cheeks. This side it's a little bit blotchy, but it's not that bad. That's so strange. This is the foundation that I use all the time, and I never even noticed that before. Yeah, it just looks very blotchy on this side. I don't know if you can see. And then on this side it looks quite nice. It's so strange. I didn't know that my foundation didn't look as good as it should with this primer, so that's been very different for me. I didn't realise it looked that bad. So far I'm really liking the Guerlain side. The e.l.f. one has really surprised me, the fact that my skin could look so much better. Quite blotchy, quite big pores, not blotchy, not big pores. Also on my nose I do always have a hard time with foundation sticking to it. I don't know what it is, it's just my nose. I don't know if it's because it's oily, but it just has lots of issues. So I am happy with how the Guerlain side looks, a lot more than the e.l.f. side, so I'm very surprised. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, then come back and show you what it looks like. So I finished off the rest of my makeup, and this is what it looks like. And I've had a really good look in the mirror when I've been applying all of my different products, and honestly so far I feel like the expensive side just looks so much more blurred. It looks so beautiful on the skin, and the side that has the e.l.f. primer on actually looks pretty cakey, especially around my cheeks. That looks really cakey on there, and then around the sides of my mouth. So I find that really weird because I never noticed that before. I suppose I wasn't really comparing it and looking at it properly compared to another primer, but so far I'm actually preferring the expensive side, and I don't want to say that because it's so expensive and I don't like spending a lot of money for a makeup product, but I like it. I feel like it's doing really good so far. My skin just looks so nice and soft, it looks very smooth, and my pores aren't as accentuated as they are in the e.l.f. side, even though the e.l.f. one is a pore filling primer. And I don't know, it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. Like from far away you can't really see a difference, but then from up close you can see that there is quite a big difference between both of them. So I'm going to come back in about 8 hours and we're going to see how the primers have worked on both sides of my skin to see if this is actually good for oily skin or if it's broken me out, or if my makeup has broken around everywhere. I'm going to compare both of them and see which one is the best one. But to be honest, there is a massive price difference and I'm expecting this one to do better just because of how good the reviews are and because of how expensive it is. So it's now 2:30 in the afternoon and I'm going to come back in about 8 hours and we'll see what it looks like on the skin, and we'll compare it to the e.l.f. one and see if it has managed to control my oils and if it does look any better, and give you my final review. It's now 10 o'clock in the evening, so I've had the primer and the foundation on my skin for 8 hours. I did start applying this at 2 o'clock and then I finished off the rest of my makeup at 2:30. So it's been 8 hours now and I do apologise for the way that my skin looks. It's been a snow day today, so I've been out quite a lot and it's been pretty much like a blizzard, so I've had the snow going straight in my face. It's been very cold. We've done a lot of stuff. It's just been really, really nice today, just going out, making a snowman, going out in the snow. So that is why my skin isn't looking as good as it usually would if I wasn't going out and doing all those things. So I did look at my skin about 4 or 5 o'clock and my skin looked so good. Now I did notice that there was a very big difference between both sides. So the e.l.f. side, it tended to be quite cakey, especially around the cheeks and also on the chin. It was very cakey on there, and then on this side it looked really nice and flawless. It looked so smooth, my pores were minimised and it just looked really nice. I did also ask Neil, I said, which side do you think is more expensive, which side do you prefer? And he actually said the expensive side that he preferred, and he actually knew that this one was the expensive one. And I feel like the reason why you could tell the difference was because this one was so matte, and like I said, it was pretty cakey on different areas, and then on this side it just looked very luminous. It looked radiant, but it didn't look oily. It just looked really nice on the skin, and I do feel like that they've probably both held up about the same as each other. So again, I apologise for the way that my makeup looks at the moment, and I also wear glasses as well, so that's why there's been a lot of foundation that's come off on both sides of my nose. I am starting to look oily, so I would need to powder and I would need to use some blotting sheets as well. So it does look quite cakey and oily on the head, but to be honest, there's not really much difference. I do feel like I prefer the expensive side just because I don't feel like it looks as cakey and I don't feel like it looks as oily as the other side. I feel like when I first applied it to the skin, I couldn't really see much of a difference. This side was a little bit more radiant, this side was a little bit more matte, and it also felt a lot smoother on this side as well. And then when I applied the foundation, I could tell straight away that my pores were minimised and it looked so much smoother on the expensive side to the cheaper side. So that's something that I didn't really look at before. I didn't really look and see if my skin looked too cakey because I wasn't comparing it to a different primer. But I feel like now the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer probably isn't the best for my skin. Now my skin is very oily, so I do like to make sure that I am matte in some places. I didn't use any mattifying powder today just because I wanted to see how the primers worked on their own. But I don't know if I would reach for the e.l.f. one again, just because I know that this one blurs my pores more than this one, and my skin looks more radiant with the expensive one, and this one just looks too matte and too cakey. Now I feel like that I've converted to the Guerlain one, and I don't want to say that because it's so expensive, and I don't feel like that people should be spending £54 or $74 on a primer. I just feel like that's really expensive. But if you do buy this, I definitely recommend going on All Beauty. Like I said, I got this for about £30, so I saved a lot of money on there, and it is really nice. I do like the fact that you have the gold in there as well. It is very, very different. The bottle's really nice and sturdy. I do like the fact that you have a pump in there as well, because with the e.l.f. one I do have to sort of stick my fingers in there because it is a putty primer, and it's not really the most sanitary out of primers, but I actually really like this. I felt like I was probably going to hate this and it was going to be very oily. Now, my skin does look pretty oily at the moment, but it has been on for 8 hours, and like I said, I've been doing a lot of stuff outside anyway. And it feels really nice and smooth on the skin. It feels soft, feels like satin. And like I said, the downside to this is the price. It is very, very expensive. I don't think I would ever pay full price for this. I will try and get it a lot cheaper if I was to repurchase it. But I am going to be reusing this because I'm pleasantly surprised. I also like the fragrance to it as well. It wasn't overpowering, it hasn't irritated my sensitive skin. It just feels like I have nothing on the skin, but my skin just feels really soft. Even now, I'm feeling my skin, and this side feels so much smoother and so much softer than this side. I like this. I feel like it's done really good. I will be using it a lot more, and I give it a really big thumbs up as well. This one might be my new go-to, but I will have to use it with a matte primer, because even though my skin looks really nice, I do still look pretty oily, and I do feel like I will have to use a mattifying primer with it, just because it doesn't control my oils as much as I'd want to. But overall, I'm really liking it. I feel like it's really good. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you've tried out this primer, and if you like it, if you don't, just comment down below to let me know, and make sure that you give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!